Hello there and welcome to Brian Lomax's Movie Talk and yet another Christmas movie review as part of my 31 Days of Christmas. Today I'm reviewing Arthur Christmas. Now this is a film I've seen before about a year ago, well probably this time last year to be honest, and I liked it back then but I wasn't blown away by it or anything, and I've watched it this time and I gotta say I actually like it a little bit more this time round, second time around. This film is produced by Aardman Studios, who are obviously famous for doing Wallace and Gromit. It's directed by Sarah Smith, so yeah, it's good to see that we've got a female director for a change. We don't tend to get many of them, I feel, not enough anyway. And it stars the voice talents of Bill Nighy, James McAvoy and Jim Broadbent, and also Hugh Laurie. These four actors play the different generations of the Santa Claus family. So you've got Jim Broadbent playing the current Santa Claus, you've got Bill Nighy playing his dad, so the former Santa Claus, and then you've got Hugh Laurie and James McAvoy playing the brothers, the sons of the current Santa Claus. Hugh Laurie plays the older one, the one who seems to get everything right and is just really efficient, knows what to do, and expects to be the next Santa Claus. And then you've got James McAvoy, who plays Arthur. He's Arthur Christmas. He's basically got the love for Christmas. He's got the joy of Christmas. To him, it's about the real, magic of Christmas. It's about about doing things for other people. It's not just a job. It's not just about filling a quota, so to speak. He's all about the magic of Christmas, but he's really incompetent. He's really clumsy and bumbling and always gets things wrong. So basically in everyone else's book, he doesn't stand a chance of inheriting the Santa Claus mantle. That's obviously going to go to his brother. However, due to a mistake, a present doesn't get delivered to this little girl. So Arthur takes it upon himself, when everyone else decides to leave it alone, to go and deliver this present. And it's really all about him kind of making everyone else see that there's more to Christmas than just labels, than job titles and things like that, and about being number one. It's about looking outward to other people rather than looking inward and thinking about yourself. What I like about this film is that it does have a fresh take on the whole Santa Claus myth. I mean, how many times have we seen the various things that we're accustomed to seeing when we're thinking about Santa Claus? The elves' workshop, the elves themselves, the Santa and his sleigh, and how he goes down chimneys. It gets a little bit mundane after a while because we've seen it all before. But what this film does is it takes a slightly different tack on it. So we have this huge sleigh, this like spaceship, and we see how it disguises itself so people don't see it. And we see just how many people are at work, how many elves are at work going down the chimneys. It's literally not just about Santa Claus going down every chimney. We see this army of elves all like just nailing it, and so it's quite fresh. It makes it feel, I don't want to say believable, but it answers those questions, I guess, of how would Santa deliver all his presents in one night. It's still unbelievable, totally, obviously, but it attempts, I guess, to answer some of them questions, and it makes the mythology feel a little bit fresher. I like the voice cast in this. I've liked all of these actors, in various films that they've done. I think they're well suited for the voices they do. I particularly like Bill Nighy in this. He's kind of this grumpy old man, and he suits that mode well. I mean, we've seen him play this before, but he has a bit of a tongue-in-cheek humour about him. He always does, and he brings a bit of levity to it as well as this grumpy nature. I also like the fact that they paint this Santa Claus family as a dysfunctional family. They're not perfect. Santa in particular is really demystified in this film because he's actually quite incompetent. He's essentially just a figurehead, someone that you could put on a Christmas card, I guess, as the image, the symbol, when in actual fact it's the elves that do all the work and it's his son that does all the planning. And when catastrophe strikes, he doesn't have any ideas. He's a bit befuddled. It's good to see them kind of not paint Santa Claus with this kind of perfection brush, which you're used to seeing in other movies. There are a couple of things about it that I don't like. I think the pacing is a little bit slow at times. I do feel like this movie could have been about 10 minutes shorter, maybe. There's a moment when they accidentally end up in, I think, Africa or somewhere like that. They're being chased by lions and things, and that just seems like a bit of a detour. It kind of drags a little bit during that section. I also wish they'd get away from this idea of naughty and nice. You know, it's one of the main things about the Santa Claus myth that I've always hated, and it really rubs me up the wrong way. And when I reviewed Fred Claus, that was one of the things I loved about that film. Just the fact that that's what that film is about in many ways, is that there are no such thing as naughty and nice children. There are just children that haven't been privileged, and those that have. You know, we don't get too much of that in this film. It is very minimal, but it is still there. Like, we get this moment with an elf that has this kind of almost like a ray gun where a scanner. He can scan a child and it tells him whether that child has been naughty or nice. And yeah, just scrap that. I'm sick of that, you know, like get that out of the notion of Santa Claus, get that out of the notion of Christmas, because that shouldn't be what Christmas is about. So that kind of bugs me a little bit. The animation itself is quite nicely rendered as well. I feel like a few of the character designs are a little bit off. I'm not too sure about them, with their like huge noses, and like the elves are quite pointed in various places. But on the whole, it's quite good. I like it. It's very fluid animation, and it's a little bit different as well to what we're used to seeing Aardman doing. You know, they're known for the stop motion stuff, and even when they did like a proper kind of animated movie, as opposed to, you know, like plasticine figures, but like, you know, computer animation, they did Flushed Away, and they still made it look like it was stop motion animation. So yeah, it's good to see them kind of departure away from that, and that's what they do here, and they do quite a good job of it. So Arthur Christmas is actually quite a decent Christmas film. It does get me in the spirit. I like the overarching message that, you know, it's better to look out and do for others than to look into yourself and think about what you're going to get. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's improved on the second viewing. But what do you think about this film? Have you seen it? If so, comment below, let me know. And until tomorrow, thanks for watching. So yeah, but what about you? Have you seen Arthur Christmas, and what did you think about it? I may, you alright, lass?
Yeah.
Yeah. Daddy's just filming. You okay?